Okay, so I just had to restart what I was saying because I ran out of storage. I had to go and delete some things and then delete the recently deleted folder. All right, and let me speak up and watch for snakes at the same time. So basically, what I was saying was I was listening to Kenneth Wheeler the other day, and a lot of the stuff that he talks about repetitively, over and over and over again, started to click and make a lot of sense. So basically, I was going to say I tend to agree with Kenneth Wheeler about how light or matter is condensed light, and they have proven that already with an experiment where they created matter from two high-powered lasers. Okay, so that's like literally a fact now. So all matter is just a condensed form of light, and all light is just energy. There's no particles, no particles. It's a wave. It's an energy wave, and a wave is made up of a medium, or a wave is within a medium, like air, water, whatever it could be, and and that medium is being compressed and rarefracted. So it's compressing and expanding or rarefracting. That's a wave. It's just energy. So, and then I want to talk about black holes too. So black holes are another key to understanding this reality that we're in. So basically, black holes also, when they consume like red giants, not all of the matter from the star is going to fall into the black hole. Not all of the light, not everything. A lot of it gets ejected. So that's been proven by astronomy. We have photos of this. So galaxies with active black holes are ejecting matter from their polar regions. Yeah, so and gamma rays. So these black holes are emitting gamma rays, and gamma rays are high powered. Is high powered light. It's the highest power of light, and that's where light starts to condense in and form. That's where I saw the cobra right there. And that's when and where light starts to condense and form hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen, what's hydrogen? Hydrogen is a proton. So it's condensing and forming protons. And protons can turn into neutrons. And when that happens, they emit an electron. Okay? So the fundamental particle is the proton. All right. And now we can make the rest of the universe. Okay? Because hydrogen is going to coalesce with itself, with other hydrogen atoms, and form stars, as everybody knows, right? And the star is going to, when it gets massive enough, it's going to start fusing nuclear fusion, fusing atoms. So hydrogen will turn into helium, helium will turn into lithium, lithium all the way to beryllium. Okay, I won't say them all. And the last one finally is going to be iron. And when iron starts to be produced or fused in the core, that's when the star goes supernova, because the fusion of iron is actually an endothermic reaction. So the other ones are exothermic, so the heat and pressure is keeping the star from collapsing. But once iron starts to fuse, it takes more energy than it gives off, and the star loses that heat and pressure that's keeping it from collapsing on its own massive gravity, and it explodes. And that's when you get all the other atoms and molecules. So after iron, everything else on the periodic table is fused by those supernovas. So gold, right? Gold is from a supernova. Silver's supernova material. Okay. I think it's really super simple. Like a child can understand this if it's in their native language. Yeah, I might just tell everybody, I might just tell this story to my students one day. Like, all right, today we're not going to study chemistry from the book. Today I'm going to tell you where everything comes from. I might not bring up the ether though. Ether is still kind of a controversial subject. I did bring it up once when I was teaching in Jining, Shandong. And one of my students, he's really smart, was like, they already proved there's no ether. And I'm like, okay. He was kind of pissed. And I'm like, I don't know exactly what he said. He said something like, he started talking about GPS. Like, we have GPS satellites, and that proves that there's no ether. I don't know how that proves that there's no ether. But anyway, I won't go there. So I'll just start with, I will just start with maybe black holes or light, and then not bring up the ether, because that's not in the curriculum, in their science curriculum. All right, so that's where everything comes from. Okay, so what brings about energy, you may ask? That's where Kenneth Wheeler is more qualified to answer than I am. But basically what he explains is it's impossible to have nothing. He talks about the Fibonacci sequence. First two numbers of the Fibonacci sequence are 1 and 1. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, or 8. Okay. And he explains the kind of the math and the geometry behind why there is something rather than nothing. Basically, nothing is impossible. You can't have nothing without something. All right. So, yes. So much to talk about. Yeah, so another reason I like talking on the way up now is because, number one, the snakes can hear me coming. Okay, the animals can hear me coming. I'm not going to startle a freaking wild boar. Those things are freaking... I saw some videos on those on WeChat the other day. The freaking boars are crazy dangerous. Yeah, so I won't be startling any animals. They'll hear me. Snakes can hear. So it's a safety reason. And also, even though I'm huffing and puffing, I can hardly talk. It passes the time. Yeah, I'm not so bored. I'm like doing 3 birds, 1 stone. 3 birds, 1 stone. Number 1, exercising. Number 2, enjoying nature. And number 3, I'm making a video and talking about things I'm interested in. And that passes the time. Not necessarily need to pass the time because I'm enjoying myself, but not enjoying myself on the really steep parts though. Not so much, but here, this is nice. Yep, and those snakes are gonna be here. Excuse me. All right, so I think I'm gonna take a break for a little bit, save some storage on my phone, and yeah, so I just explained the nature of our reality, where everything comes from, and why there's something rather than nothing. So I think that's enough for one video. All right. So I also recommend Kenneth Wheeler on YouTube. He's a lot smarter than I am. So he's the source of all of this wisdom. So yeah, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please go visit Kenneth Wheeler. His handle on YouTube is, I have a hard time pronouncing this, it's like Theoria Apophasis. Theoria Apophasis. Anyway, he's freaking genius. And I learned about him through Clif, who's kind of a crazy genius. Nobody's perfect, right? Even Ken Wheeler's not perfect. Like, everybody's got things that that make them not perfect. Like, I don't agree with everything Ken Wheeler thinks or does. But nobody's perfect. Actually, what did I disagree? Oh, like, he mentioned he didn't like listening to some guy, and he called Clif High like a crazy old guy. So I don't really agree with that kind of stuff. Ken kind of just keeps to himself. He doesn't listen to anybody else, because he's the smartest person one of the smartest. He's probably the smartest person on YouTube, I would say, one of the smartest. So he's just always meditating about these topics. So he'll talk about these topics constantly, and he keeps repeating himself because people can't wrap their mind around it. So he keeps making these videos, and it takes about 100 times till you start to get it. Yeah. And then there's Clif High. He's also a genius, but he's a little bit more crazy. So you have Ken Wheeler, he's like a normal genius, and then you have Clif High, is kind of like a crazy genius. So I definitely recommend both of them. But once again, nobody's perfect. Not all their ways are good, and not all their predictions come true. Oh, and one more. One more would be, or maybe two more. So David Wilcock and Benjamin Fulford are interesting as well. So David Wilcock, Divine Cosmos at YouTube, and then you have Ben Fulford. Yeah, so Ben Fulford and Clif High were purged from YouTube. So they're on Rumble now and BitChute. Like, I was purged as well. Like, it's a badge of honor to be purged from YouTube, because yeah, they purged us. They didn't like the truth getting out, so we were purged. Anyway, I'm not really involved in that conspiracy theory stuff anymore. There's so many people that are other people who are picked up the ball and are doing it for, like Russell Brand, for example. It's like, I don't need to do this anymore because we got people like Russell Brand with 10 million followers, on YouTube, pumping out videos every day. So I feel like I can take a break and just enjoy life. I'm definitely happier. And I think that affects everybody around me a lot better. So yeah, I know I go on crazy rants sometimes, but it's better to get that stuff out of you rather than bottle it up inside and explode. So if something's bothering you, get it out, because it's way better to get out any bad feelings you have rather than hold them in. They'll make you sick. They will seriously make you sick. So yeah, I might go on crazy rants sometimes, but I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm a really happy guy. Happier to get those feelings out of me, and I hope I didn't do any damage, like turn people off from some of this stuff. I probably did, so, but whatever. It's my nature, and nature created me for a reason. Because yeah, nature created me, so I feel like what I did was natural, and what's natural, there's a reason, right? Why is the what's a good analogy? I should stop blabbing soon. Like, for example, like thinking like evolution wise. So why do lions roar? They want to scare scare their competition or something. I don't know. Their roar is for a reason. It's to show their dominance. Or why do lions have teeth? Okay, they have teeth for a reason. For eating food, right? Yes. Okay, now I'm just blabbing. Now I'm just a blababushka. Now I'm just blabbering too much. I learned that word from another guy who I would recommend. Bald and Bankrupt on YouTube. Super funny guy. He's a traveler, and he travels the old-fashioned way, or he travels in interesting ways. Like the last video I saw him make, he wanted to buy a ticket, the cheapest train ticket in, where was he? He was in Bangladesh, and they wouldn't give him the ticket because the ticket was for riding on the roof of the train. And he's like, come on, I want the ticket. They wouldn't give him the ticket because they said, oh, it's too dangerous, it's too dangerous. And finally he convinced them to give him a roof ticket. And it's like 100 degrees in Bangladesh, so he's like, oh yes, this is so much better because it's cooler on the roof. And there was a bunch of dudes on the roof as well, and they're like, it was like a party, a train roof party, but there was like hardly anything to hold on to. It looks super dangerous. The train is going fast, and these guys have done this their whole lives. They're like standing up, grabbing branches as they go by trees, and it is just hilarious. I think it's one of his best, definitely one of his best videos. So I highly recommend Bald and Bankrupt as well. Who freaking watches TV or series anymore? This stuff is way better. Like real people. Watch real people. Get rid of the corporate propaganda machine. Let's go. Woman Zoba. All right, I'm gonna take a break. I'm talking too much. Bye bye.